Good,
Hey,
good,
how you
sir.
going?
How you doing, sir?
Good. The reason I stopped any of the plates are expired.
Oh,
Sticker.
So you guys, as you guys just saw, I was pulled over in my Camaro just recently, and that sort of inspired me to make this little video. And if you guys are wondering if my tag was actually expired or my sticker was expired, yes it was. But before we click off the video, it's the story of how I actually got pulled over that got me really thinking to make this video, because I sort of got some unwanted attention because of my car. Or that's at least what I assumed what happened. You guys can make your own decision after hearing the story. Let me know what you think happened. So if you're considering buying a bright colored sports car or a bright colored muscle car, you might want to watch this video, because I'll just tell you guys what happened. So it was super late at night. I had a few of my friends in the car, and I know it's a Camaro and it's hard to fit people in the car, but I had a friend to the right of me and then a friend back there. And basically what happened was, I have a Raider, obviously. I'll link that video above so you guys can check it out if you guys are interested. But I was leaving McDonald's and I saw a police officer come by that I was alerted to a little bit before it came by because of the radar device. So we saw it come by, and outside of the McDonald's is a light. So the police car, if you could envision it, is up at the light. First car in the left lane. Now I'm way back in the right lane. So we're driving, and then eventually the cop turns off, okay, to go take a left. Then, as we pass the cop, okay, the cop then goes out of the left lane and then goes back to driving straight, and then goes all the way to my lane, the right lane, okay? Now, for some reason, I thought it was a good idea, and I still think it's a decent idea to, as soon as you have a cop behind you, since a lot of times they're fishing for a reason to pull you over, just take the first right you can and try to get out of there. Park, because you can't really do anything wrong if you just immediately take a right. So that was my plan, okay? So that's what I did, okay? And the cop put on their signal just like I did, but they kept going straight, and I turned off onto a road, and they turned into a little parking station. I go down like a mile on this road, and I think to myself, the cop's probably gone. So, stupidly, I guess, I go back, okay? So I go back, and as soon as I get there, my thing starts going off, my radar detector, and the cop is still there. But the cop's still deep parked, hiding away in the spot that I saw him park. So I take a right to go back onto the main road I was initially on, and the cop goes out of its hiding spot, okay, and goes back behind me. So at this point, I'm getting a little worried, because I'm like, this guy, he got behind me after going out of his left turn lane. Then he came back after I came back, and he came back quick because he was deep into that little hiding spot. Then he really gets on my ass, and then I did the same thing. I just pulled over into a noodle shop, but the noodle shop was closed, okay? So I go take a right, and immediately the cop takes the right with me. So at this point, I'm like, I'm about to park, we'll see what the cop does, and then he lights me up. I'm super cooperative, obviously, nice kid here. So, but the guy comes and he just says, I'm pulling you over because of your sticker. But this guy went out of his way to get back behind me, and he went out of his way to find me again. So I'm thinking, the guy went behind me maybe because of the color of my car. It's the only thing I could think of, because there's nothing else he could really see besides that. And because my car is going to stand out more than anyone else's, at least that were there behind him at that light. Then when I think he got behind me, and I'm not sure if he was able to tell that my tag was expired or my sticker was expired, but once I quickly took the right, I think he was like, all right, I'll let this guy go. And then when he saw me coming back, he's like, all right, I'm bored. I got nothing to do. Let me mess with this guy. And that's pretty much what happened. Then he wrote me a ticket, okay, he actually wrote me a parking ticket, but it was for not having my sticker updated. So that's what he gave me. Not really a big deal. It doesn't affect my insurance or anything like that. But basically, the moral of the story is, well, there's a few, but you're going to get a lot of attention in a bright colored sports car or a bright colored muscle car, just like I do. A lot of good attention, or a lot of attention that I like. Who doesn't like people looking at their car, smiling, little kids, whatever. But then you're going to get a lot of unwanted attention too, and that's what I think happened here, because obviously there's no way to know. Maybe the cop was taking a left and he just decided that he needed to go straight again, and then he came back. And then randomly he came out of his hiding spot at the same time that I happened to be coming back, to go back on that main road. There's a chance of that, and I'm not going to say that's impossible. And at the end of the day, I did do something wrong, but the cop had to really go and try to find me to get it done. And I just think it just goes to show that you're going to get some attention that you don't really want, potentially. So the other moral of the story is, if you're going to buy a Camaro, like I have, buy a gray Camaro, buy a black Camaro, or something like that. Obviously, that isn't going to guarantee that you stay out of trouble, but that's just what I think, might help a little bit. But I really do like my car, and I know if you guys are familiar with my channel, it's just a V6 Camaro. It's nothing crazy, but the car probably stands out and pops a little more than if you actually knew the car, just has 300 stock horsepower or something like that. It probably pops out a little bit more if you didn't know. I could be wrong, but at least before I got the car, when I would see a yellow Camaro, it would always catch my attention. So here, now I have it, and I've sort of been on the receiving end of some unwanted attention. But this is just my little story. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and maybe this will help you make a decision on what car to buy. I would say, if this is the only reason you're thinking about not getting a bright colored car, I would just say, it depends what situation you're in. I mean, it can definitely be sort of a pain to have this happen all the time, but luckily for me, it really hasn't happened all too often. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.